Please allow me to take this opportunity to recite some words, a few words that the speaker spoke in a much earlier video, so that we can examine a bit more closely, a bit more subtly, on what these words mean and who is speaking the words. So here we go. You take this and into your mind, into your body, and see how you feel. Only a few words. I owns nobody. I owns nobody. Nor any other body. I is not free. Nor is I bound. I cannot be discovered within myself. Whatever one is. I has no belongings, nor no purpose, nor does I belong to any form or space. I is not single, nor is I married or related to another. All is one. Neither inside nor outside of I. Simplistically recognized is simply this. I is I. Now what does that mean? If you're referring to yourself as I, as that I, person, identity, want to find an outcome. It is related to you, this I. What if the speaker says to you this? I does not exist independently of you. We're not looking at you and me as this I. We're looking at this infinite, spearing, colossal, limitless, stretching tower of I. That we, as individual eyes, appear to be living within. Otherwise, we wouldn't even comment about our universal I that we all use. You understand this? When each individual uses the word I, it means we are all the same I. Excuse me. So, what if the speaker said to you, take yourself out of I. Take yourself out of this infinite tower. And look at the tower as outside of you. This tower is life. It is an infinite stretching tower of no shape, no size, no quality, no form. I know it's very difficult for the mind to actually picture this. So if you can imagine it as having some sort of boundaries, a tower that spears through every universe, every galaxy, every cosmos. Within this tower is infinite possibilities. Infinite, endless, stretching, limitless possibilities of what can be. A tower of fantastical, imaginative thought, where three-headed men can appear. The apocalypse charioteers, white horses flying. Revelation is written based on the possibilities. Revelation in the Bible means we're all going to experience completely diverse and unique, unimagined experiences that can relate to Revelation. This tower can create anything that it wants. And this is the main I. So when you're in this tower, your mind, your thoughts, as you do in every day in your life, can create so much fantastical possibilities. But your body, if they include an experience, these possibilities, cannot adapt to that possibilities. I want to be a three-headed man. I want to fly around the universe with colossal wings the size of skyscrapers. It's not possible. So therefore you use this limited I to say, well, it's only me, only this little I. And they don't go hand in hand. This unlimited mind, this unlimited imaginatory thought-based fantastical world that we can create just by letting our minds go. And we do it in our human world. We create colosseums, empires, buildings, airplanes, spaceships. But it is unattainable to imagine what possibilities can be achieved when not this little tiny I. Revelation is saying, yes, you are a human form, or you are appearing in a human form, and you have taken on this minuscule name I, when you become that individual, segmented, singular human form. So therefore, your capabilities will be limited. But you cannot escape this infinite, vast, unimaginable, mysterious mind that goes along with your limited body. Ramana Maharshi denied the body, like so many are denying the body, denying the mind. And what happens is you go back to nothingness, emptiness, because the body is just a fragment. But the mind that creates this body into whatever scale it wants to create it into, by denying the mind, also creates the mind as a fragment. And when both of these are fragmented into minuscule atoms and molecules, they leave the Tower of I. There is no point in being in this Tower of I with infinite possibilities. So much to do, so much to imagine, create, fantasize, build, construct, improve. So they become separate from this Tower of I, as the witness of this Tower of I. The Tower of I cannot create life to itself without creating its own consciousness. And that's what we do in our body state. We appear within a body as if we are in this body. And we believe. We believe that this is our destination. This is our only possibility. While you're in the Tower of I, the samsara Tower of I, you will come back and continue your evolution as whatever possibility it unfolds for you through this light of consciousness that you self-exist as. So enlightenment, emptiness, nothingness, awakening, and whatever is your moving out of the Tower of I to witness what is taking place with no judgment, with no value, with no interest. It's like watching the cars from your window without identifying with each car. They just come and go. They just whiz past. And that's what meant as the witness. It's not about, there's not a you and a body, a mini I anymore. It's just that, well, let it be. Whatever will be, will be. Let them fight over peace and war and power and success and competitiveness in this Tower of I. Let them continue to explore the possibilities. There's no, the Tower of I is a foolish place. It's a place of existence. It's a place of ego. But it's pure when it's left alone to just spew out these new births of creativity that we plan and organize. So those who escape this Tower of I is those who cannot abide by this egoistic section of this I. You can't say that I is completely warped, completely diluted, completely lost its plot, lost the cause. It's just that consciousness, like everything else, moves through the Tower of I, like it moves through the body, in a wave. But this tower is so vast, this consciousness, this light, can take years, light years, to get to specific parts of this tower that has not yet even revealed itself. So I is the witness. The witness is not I. You see, because when you say I is the witness, you are witnessing from this Tower of I. As a minuscule body, as a reflection, as a replication of this Tower of I, we are elongated like a pine tree, stable, upright. So many who have escaped this tower, not permanently, we're always popping in and out for a cup of tea, a little blather, a little kind of update on what's happening in the world through the television screen in this Tower of I. But when you are aware, or when you lose sight of what you are, meaning you take ownership of these words, I own no body. So the I inside is of no relationship to this body. It lives here, it dwells here for a period of time. This I that cannot be discovered, you cannot say you have a shape, a name, a form, or anything. This I that has no belongings is what will take place when this body dies. All the belongings will go to the I inside. Even the body that belonged to it will disappear. I is not free, nor I is bound. It is even beyond that description of nothingness and emptiness. So it's not emptiness and nothingness looking at this Tower of I. It is something that is so unknowable to the mind, to that opposing state mind, that it just cannot establish any even molecule of evidence to what it is. Simply, I is I. You can identify yourself as this mini I. And you are taking ownership of this body and mind solely. And therefore you have a chore in this world. You have a chore in this world to become enlightened and awakened. because there's no longer that refuge in that tower unless you jump back in permanently and become that chess piece or that ball in the bagatelle game when you ping pong, ping pong, ping pong, ping pong, ping pong, you become that towering ego mind. So enlightenment, awakening, or whatever you want to call it, freedom, liberation from knowing yourself, from knowing anything, freedom from not knowing anything about possibilities, interests. Even these words make no sense to the speaker, they're just coming and going. When you are free from yourself and free from all self, all eyes, you have a chore. You won't fit in. Because others that are looking from the tower of I, appearing as if you are still in this tower, because there really is no escape. It's just a thought. I'm saying, come on, get on with it. Join the club. Come back into the game. Play the game. Play the game of I. I spy with my little eye. Something beginning with clouds. Let's look at clouds today. You have a chore to simply just find enough to keep this body alive. And that's not a sympathetic thing. That is freedom. Because that's the job of an animal. To find food, to sleep, to get enough, to love unconditionally, to accept, to trust, and just to remain living in this body for as long as it possibly can, for a period of time, and enjoy this witnessing of this landscape that comes through this tower, this beautiful planet, this beautiful universe that comes through this tower, giving birth, watching others give birth to infinite possibilities. And all you are giving birth to is your breath. And you can create a little painting every now and then. You can fall into the trap of giving it a title, picking a subject, thinking about objects in space, composition, form, all that stuff that has been born from a mind that just loves titillating itself, loves playing with itself. I is the tower of I. When you witness your tower, that imagination, that revelation, that idea that chariot men and horses and devils and dragons and all this and the earth is going to come, and I've not really read the book, but it's very exciting reading. Become, wow, this is possible. This is possible. All of this revelation experiences is possible in your imagination, in your mind, in this infinite towering of I. But this I wants to remain as a witness of it and not participate. And if it's brought in to participate, so be it. That's the dharma of this God that in its entirety holds billions of towers of I. Because there's not just one tower of living life I. There are other towers that mind cannot conceive but can imagine. And in imagination, it becomes reality when it experiences it for that moment. The mystery of God is unmoving because it is too fantastical for anything to understand. Anything to understand. Any form being, living source to understand in its entirety. That is just the most wondrous movie that you'll ever experience, with a mind that knows God exists. But that's all the information you need. You don't need to know anything else about what it is, where it is, what scale it is, how good looking it is, how much money it has. You don't need to know anything about anything in that God. So therefore you don't need to know anything about this infinite possibilities, towers that you were a prisoner in for so many bodies, so many centuries, so many light years. And you're free. You're floating about as consciousness. You're simply consciousness. And when consciousness goes, when this body consciousness goes, this human consciousness goes, you just merge and disappear into what is.